morning, everyone, and thank you very much for giving up your time to come along to our webinar today. This is with the fabulous Tom Petch, who's from Q Park, and he's got lots of information to give you about what Q Park does and also how that can benefit you as a driving instructor. So without further ado, I will hand you over to Tom, and thank you very much. Tom, all yours.
Thank you very much, and good morning to everyone, and thanks again for joining this webinar where, as we've just said, we're going to talk about Q Park, what we do, just in case you don't know much about us, but also about how actually Q Park and the Drivers Instructors Association, we work together to actually make, to offer almost lessons within our car parks for learner drivers and actually help them improve their experience of driving in car parks and city centres. So without further ado, I will go through these slides. So obviously, firstly, who am I? I'm Tom Petch. My current role is I'm the commercial team lead at Q Park. I'm responsible for marketing across the UK and Ireland. My responsibility, as I said, is leading and managing the marketing team for both countries, ensuring a strategic alignment and marketing campaign execution, as well as lots of other things involving our websites, our branding, a whole host of parking-related marketing, everything you can think of. I've been at Q Park in various roles for over 12 years. So I progressed from starting as a marketing assistant up now to leading the team. I've also got extensive industry knowledge. My expertise would be commercial strategy, marketing leadership, and obviously partnerships with other businesses such as the Driving Instructors Association. Am I fun at parties? Probably not, but if you do want to talk about parking, then I am the guy for you. I promise. So I thought we'd just have a bit of introduction in case people don't know who Q Park are. We are a very big business, but I thought it'd be good to have a proper introduction of who Q Park are and what we do. So we have a purpose, and we believe our purpose in city centres is to enhance urban livability and connect communities by providing sustainable mobility solutions and seamless parking services. And actually, we always have a vision which is changing, but our current vision is that by 2030, we want to be the preferred sustainable mobility hub partner within city centres. In terms of Q Park and our size, I think we're the second largest parking operator in Europe. We operate over 1 million parking spaces across over 5,000 car parks in 7 countries. As you can see, the numbers there are sort of our market positions in each country. The number 1 is Netherlands, where we started. So we are in UK, Ireland, France, Belgium, the Netherlands, Germany, and Denmark. So we are a Western European business. Bit of a timeline of Q Park. Q Park were founded in 1998 in the Netherlands, in our head office in Maastricht. We then sort of moved into other countries by strategic acquisition. So in 1999, it was Germany. Start of 2000, it was then Belgium. 2001, we arrived in the UK. And then in 2002, went into Ireland and France. Denmark in 2005. You'll notice it says Sweden, Norway, and Finland, which weren't on my map before, but I'll cover that in a sec. Again, more acquisitions. So again, you can see we acquire other car park operators in France, Belgium. We then, in 2009 to 2016, we really sort of consolidated our position in each country and started to really digitize and innovate our businesses. We were then acquired by KKR. They're a very big American infrastructure business. They own all kinds of different big brands, things like Trainline.com, Pets at Homes. If you think of most big brands, they probably have some kind of stake in it. Again, some more acquisitions of other operators. Sold Sweden, Norway, and Finland. So they're no longer Q Park. Big contract in Paris at La Défense. That's a massive contract. In Ireland, we bought one of the bigger car park competitors in Parkrite. 2024 is a UK one. We actually bought Britannia Parking. So Britannia are a company that does a lot more enforcement. So if you think things like pub car parks, we can only park for a certain amount of time. That's the kind of things that they operate. So let me just minimize this window so I can see. Again, more acquisitions in other countries. So new investors, so Pontegadea, they own brands such as Zara, Pull&Bear, Bershka, those kind of brands, and then Interogo, who also now have a stake. They are the primary owners of IKEA. So lots of big investment businesses sit behind Q Park. So that's sort of a brief history of us. And again, we are a business that's ever growing, ever looking to acquire new car parks, buy other car park operators, you name it. If it's parking, we're interested in it. We have what we say is 5 strategic pillars. As I said before, long-term growth, we're always looking to really expand. We tend to concentrate mainly on the heart of the biggest city centres. So, for example, you won't really see a Q Park car park in somewhere like Scarborough, but you would see them in Leeds, London, Liverpool, Manchester. We want to dominate the hearts of the biggest city centres in Europe. We're always looking to add incremental value. So EV charging is obviously a huge area for us now. We're investing a lot in that, and I'll cover that in some later slides, as well as working with other mobility partners in city centres. So even things like transport providers, car hire, car sharing. Our operational excellence is what we believe stands us out from everybody else. We have a very seamless customer journey from where we digitize our parking right down to the customer service we have on the ground, as well as in our remote call centres. In terms of long-term value, again, we have a very strong CSR program about how we really, add benefit to our city centres. We're not just here just to think about us. We don't work in a silo. We want to work with other basically local stakeholders. The SMP program is, again, back to the mobility solutions thing, which I'll cover in some slides further on. And again, functional quality, this really is the heart of everything we do. So we're very data driven. We know exactly what's happening in our car parks at any one time. Seamless parking, we invested in and built our own AMPR system. So actually everything is within our own house of data. We believe our brand is known for quality. Our actual slogan is quality in parking. That's what the Q stands for. Again, we have a team of very dedicated parking hosts. These guys patrol regularly. They're always available for customers, as well as obviously our customer service team available here in our head office. And they're always, if you press a help button in one of our car parks at 3 a.m. on Christmas Day, someone is there to answer. And again, we obviously invest in our real estate, our IT infrastructure. This isn't just sort of just the bricks and mortar of a car park that you see. It's actually about everything behind it and how we constantly improve our assets to make them the best quality possible. Because that's what makes customers come back at the end of the day. If they have a good parking experience, they'll keep parking with us. And the reason is that parking is basically the first step of someone's journey into a city centre. Unless you're a bit sad like me, you don't just go into a city centre to look at car parks. You're normally going for a meal, to see a show. It could be anything like that. And parking is just the first step of your arrival in a city centre. We also covered EV charging points. You can see in the last few years, we had a really big project to invest in and grow our EV charging infrastructure. We do see that as the future of car ownership. So you can see in 2018, we had 500 across Europe, and now we have nearly 7,000. So it has been a big jump, and it jumped further again last year. Again, we're also really keen to reduce our carbon footprints. Again, this is part of being. I think people sometimes just think that us wanting cars in city centres we're not environmentally conscious. That's definitely not the case. As you see on this slide, we're investing in green miles with EV charging, but also reducing our carbon footprint. Things like replacing our lighting with LEDs has really brought that down. And it also has the added benefit that lighting is much brighter as well. So it's much better for the customer as well as the environment. We talked about mobility hubs in some earlier slides, and this really is how we want to be that mobility partner by 2030. This is not just us about operating car parks, it's actually about operating mobility hubs. So for us, it's not just cars, it's anything else. There's last mile logistics, so things like your DPD, deliveries in city centres. Car sharing is a big thing for us, so they will locate their cars with us. Even things like the hire of e-bikes and e-scooters, these will be housed in our hubs, solar panels on the roof. There really is a big old area of what more can we do with our facilities. It's not just parking, it's about providing all these different things that benefit the local area. So you'll probably hear lots of content that if you ever follow us on any of our LinkedIn or any of our social channels, it's a real big push for us in the next few years. So moving on to, obviously that's enough about Q Park, but let's talk about how Q Park and the Driving Instructors Association work together and how this can benefit you and your students. So basically, in a nutshell, driving instructors can log on and book 30-minute parking sessions within some of our car parks in city centres. Obviously, like before, in the heart of city centres, it really is a good opportunity to improve the experience of learner drivers in city centres. That's not just in car parks, in my view. It's also things like one-way systems, lane systems. I know when I passed my driving test, I've pretty much just learned on suburban roads. And the first time I drove into a city centre, there was 4 lanes in Leeds, and I was always constantly getting lost and looping around the wrong way. So this is, as well as getting used to car parks, it helps them get used to urban driving. This is a fully digital system. It's all online.
So is this free for DIA members,
It's
Tom?
basically it's there's just a transaction fee of 50p
Excellent.
for
So
each
for
one.
50p, they can take their learners into the car park for a half-hour session. Is that correct?
Exactly, yeah, that's fully correct.
Brilliant. I mean, from a driving instructor's perspective, it's one of the areas that learners really do need to experience,
It is,
because
yeah,
when
100%.
they're out there on their own, they're going to be doing it on their own. And probably if they're anything like me, the first time I went into what would be a multi-story car park, trying to navigate around the bends and not hit my well, at the time it was wheel trims. Nowadays it's alloys.
Yeah.
And turn my wheel trims into what would be pastry cut. Nice little chips all the way around.
Oh,
And
and
I
it's worse these days with alloys as well because they're much more expensive to
exactly
repair.
much more expensive. So the fact that learners can get this opportunity with their instructor, who can
Mhm.
obviously give them the guidance needed, in terms of where to position their vehicle before turning into ramps and things like that,
100%.
and going up and down levels, how to give way to other people in the car parks, things to
Yeah,
be aware of within the car parks, because although I'm sure your car parks are very well lit, well signed, and pedestrians know exactly where to walk, we know that pedestrians don't walk there. and we
yeah,
know
exactly. No, 100%.
and we know that they will step out unexpectedly. So, as a
100%.
learning experience, this can be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
From
it's almost a very good opportunity for what I'd always class as hazard perception. I know I'm probably going a bit
mm,
towards theory tests here, but
yeah,
it very much is the case of you're in an environment where you're not sure who's going to come from behind a car. There's lots of cars, there's families, there's all kinds of people.
absolutely.
People drive the wrong way sometimes, so you can expect anything to happen in a car park because
Exactly.
it is.
And quite often they're distracted as well, because the drivers around you, and indeed yourself, you have to be aware of,
Yeah,
aren't concentrating at that moment so much on road safety. They're concentrating on trying to find a parking space, or
exactly. Yeah,
in or out of a parking space, or
yeah,
am I straight? Am I within the lines? Oh no, I'll just shunt back again. And
yeah,
so, again, for an instructor's point of view, giving the learner that experience whereby, as they are driving along aisles of cars, what are you looking for? Are you looking for reversing lights? Are you looking for movement? Are you looking for car doors opening? All of that kind of thing, because, even a low impact accident, for example, in a car park, or somebody opening their door unexpectedly
yeah.
into another vehicle, it's very expensive nowadays
It
to
is. Yeah, it's not just a case of getting repaired cheaply, is it? I think getting a
yeah,
bit of paint damage is still a few £100s,
no,
regardless of how minimal it is.
exactly. I mean, long gone are the days from my youth where every Ford Cortina that you'd see on the streets would have at least one different coloured door.
The
I
true
mean,
patchwork cars.
yeah, I mean, I am older than you, Tom, obviously, but people are obviously more inclined to make sure their cars are well cared for, well looked after nowadays. But
100%.
that does come at a cost. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
People aren't paying attention. So, yes, sorry to jump in on you there,
No,
Tom.
no, it's fine. No, it's absolutely fine. I know a good example. I mean, my car got dinged in a supermarket car park, not a Q Park car park, and the dint was really tiny.
Mm,
But where it was like above my wheel arch. So it cost about £180 just to repair this minor dint,
yeah,
which was really irritating. But like you
yeah.
said, that's just what car ownership is like these days with modern vehicles.
Exactly. And, we are, once pupils have passed their test,
Hmm.
although we do teach them, bay parking and things
Yeah,
like that, once they've passed their test, that they are out there on their own.
yeah,
And
that's it. They do what they do to get past the driving test, and then they're on the roads.
yeah,
And that's actually the best lesson for people. Is actually always in my eyes is just get the experience.
mm, exactly. And it can be quite daunting for them, the first few times that they do visit a car park, with all of those added extra things that they have to think about. in
Yes.
terms of where are they going to park for a starter, and am I going to be a bit close to that pillar, and I don't want to park there, and all of those things, so to be able to do this with an instructor in a well-maintained city centre car park is absolutely brilliant, and I'm sure there'll be lots of members that will be taking you up on this free offer.
Yeah, and it's funny we talk about sort of trying to find somewhere to park, and we always say that pre-booking parking is actually the most environmentally friendly way to do it, because you know where you're going. You're not driving around the city centre trying to find somewhere to park. You've booked parking with us. And same with this, when you do the driving lessons, you've already booked your parking, so you know where you're going, if that makes sense. You're not going to drive around thinking, right, which car park they're going to go. Right, I've booked at this car park, I'm going to drive straight there. That's it. It's a lot easier for everybody.
Exactly, and brilliant, and nice that that there are these opportunities for instructors.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, we had Kevin ask online, how would we book the sessions? But I think you're going to go on and talk about that later on.
Yeah, we'll cover that further in the slides. Yeah.
And somebody else saying, can you send the booking website, please? And again, we can talk about that a little bit later on as well, how you do all of this.
No,
thank you for the questions, guys. Okay, Tom, back to you.
Yeah, no problem. So again, this is a bit of a step-by-step guide of how you do it. So driving instructors would use there's basically a unique link which is available in the members area of the DIA website. On there, you can select from a list of cities where the offer is available. As you see here, this screenshot is Croydon, down in London. The product's valid for 30 minutes parking with a flexible start time. So if you book that 30 minutes, the 30 minutes starts from when you enter the car park. Within this, the number plate is entered in the booking, and then the nominal transaction fee of 50p. That all goes in the system, and they get a confirmation email. So then the next step is how does this work? So the number plate goes onto our ANPR system, which we obviously covered before, when the instructor completes the booking. When the vehicle arrives at the car park, they approach the barrier. They don't need to stop and take a paper ticket like you may see other customers do. The barrier will just open. There'll be a big green light. You can just drive straight in and get on with the lesson. So there's no need to worry about having to stop and I need to get a ticket and all this kind of stuff. So you don't ever need to worry about that. There is a backup system. So I'm thinking if the number plate's really dirty, for example, it can sometimes not be read as well. On the booking confirmation emails, there is a QR code that can also be scanned at the barrier as a backup. But to be honest, our number plate read rate is so high that I think unless you arrive with a number plate covered in snow, you should be fine more often than not. So once the student and the instructor in the car park, all they need to do is just proceed to what I would always the best tip I would say is go to a quieter area of the car park, just because it gives the student that bit more space. They can get used to everything. They don't need to worry about other vehicles driving around as well. A very good example is probably a roof level. This car park here is in Liverpool, if anyone recognises that Radio City Tower. The rooftops are usually pretty quiet, so you can really have quite a lot of opportunities to learn how to bay park, but also get used to driving up the ramps up the car park as well, because that's also one area to learn. And you get the added benefit of some quite nice views. And also, a lot of our parking spaces tend to be wider than the industry average. We always try to future-proof our business. So it really is going to help that student to get used to something and not think they have to sort of crowbar a car into a very tight space in a corner.
That's excellent, Tom, because nowadays with cars getting wider, it is more difficult in some car parks to actually squeeze your car into an allocated space. So the fact that Q Park have actually taken that on board and made their spaces comfortable for vehicles to park in.
Yeah, and it's one thing you actually see when we take over car parks. I'm thinking of a good example. We're taking over a car park in Manchester recently. It's not in the best condition at the minute. We're obviously investing to refurbish it. But actually what we do is we actually take parking spaces out so we can make the rest of them bigger. So it maybe doesn't sound like the most commercially sensible thing to do. But actually we find, let's say we have 10 less parking spaces for a car park that doesn't get full anyway. If everyone else that's parking is happy, they'll keep coming back. So that's our kind of our logic on this.
Absolutely. I mean, with you working at that end of it, making the car parks a nicer experience, and instructors making sure that their learners have had that experience and are more confident to park.
Yeah.
You know, this makes it nicer all round. It's a very good hand-in-hand collaboration, really.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with you. Again, on exit, so there's no need to go to a pay machine in the car park. The booking's already on there, so the instructor and student will simply drive straight to the exit, and the barrier will just open again automatically. If obviously the booking's overstayed, that is charged at the standard tariff, and that just automatically goes to the card that was used on the booking. So there's never any need to make another payment on site, basically.
Excellent.
It's all back to the sort of original point we made about seamless parking. It's about making this as easy as possible for people. And we always encourage just in our own pre-booking system customers to really pre-book, and we are having record numbers of people pre-book now sort of every month at the minute, which is really excellent.
Brilliant. Is there a limit for driving instructors as to how many sessions they can book during?
No, there isn't.
Time? Excellent. So if they've got 2 different learners on the same day, they can book
No,
one.
there's no problem doing that. The only thing that may restrict it is obviously the car parks have a capacity for pre-booking, but to be honest, we kind of pick some car parks where we know that this isn't really that often an issue, so it should always be available for instructors and their students to use.
Fantastic. Oh, somebody just asked, can they book the sessions back to back? So I presume one after the other.
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
But I presume that they would have to leave the car park
and come back in,
30 minutes and then come back in.
Yeah, so each booking is valid for one entry and one exit. So if they book them back to back, they just have to drive out and drive back in again.
Fantastic.
So obviously, I've probably covered some of this already, but I suppose bay parking with us. Why? We think our locations are good. It gives that experience of driving on busy roads, lane systems, and car parks. The access is nice and easy, as we've obviously already covered. No need to worry about paying on site for anything. Nice wide spaces, but also well lit. So obviously not some car parks are obviously underground car parks. You don't have a roof level, so you maybe drive into a very bottom floor. But actually, we always have our lighting so that there aren't dark corners, which is a safety thing, but also makes it easier for people navigating. They don't need to worry about, is there a pillar in that corner that I can't see? Everything should be visible for them.
I'm just looking at your picture there, Tom. Is that one of those parking systems where if there's a space available, there's a green light over the space, or is
it's not? No, they're just. I think they are. This is a car park in Windsor, which we've just refurbished. I think they may be disabled and parent and family signs that you can see on the right and left.
Right.
And then we just installed a lot of lighting above all of it. Just this car park is a very good example. We put a video on our social media where I went to this car park the first day we took it over, and it was so very, very dark in there. Whereas now it's really nice lit. You know, it got nominated for a British Parking Award for best refurbishment. So it really shows that if I showed the before picture of this exact same angle, it really would surprise people how dark it used to be in there. So it really is. You could almost you need full beam on.
So someone else asked, is there a height restriction for these?
There is, and it varies by car park. So I would always just double check on our website for the height restrictions. Every car park has one. They're usually between like 1.9 and 2.2 meters. So I suppose most cars are fine. I don't think there'll be anyone driving anything massive. That's not.
What they're asking is if there was like a recovery van needed, for example, an AA or RAC van, would they be able to?
Yeah, so we tend to, I think the RSC tend to know us quite well, that they tend to bring the smaller vans into city centres anyway. But again, we've also worked with them that they can help get the car to the entrance as well and then out of there. So it is a common thing. We do have cars break down, as you'd expect. So it is something our operational colleagues are always on hand to assist with.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I'll let you carry on.
And then the last benefit, which I just sort of put, is that actually our car parks do have a 5 mile an hour speed limit. Now, obviously, maybe not every customer will listen to it, but at least students should not feel rushed. I know what it's like being a learner driver and someone's tailgating behind you on the roads because you're just going a little bit slow, getting used to driving. There's no pressure to rush driving around our car parks. It's meant to be slow for safety of vehicles and pedestrians. So obviously, what cities is this available in? So it really is available in a lot of our cities. So Birmingham, Chelmsford, Croydon, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Leeds, Liverpool, London, Manchester, Newcastle, Nottingham, Reading, Sheffield, Windsor, and York. And as I said before, we're forever growing. So more cities will just appear over time as well, which is a really good thing. It does give a lot of spread across the country that driving instructors not too far away from a city centre they can use.
Yeah, that's nice because I mean, we have things like Pass Plus scheme that isn't so widely used now, but there are still opportunities within learning to drive for taking that longer drive, so that you're going to a different town, you're going somewhere else, you can make it a longer lesson and make it a whole experience for your learner, whereby
that's
they're doing real life driving, which is fantastic.
Very easy to get used to driving on the roads that you know, whereas actually sometimes going somewhere different into a different city centre is a good way to grow experience for learner drivers.
No, it's brilliant. Somebody's asked, do they close in severe weather like ice and snow on the ramps because that could be dangerous, or are they
it's quite a funny one because if we get snow, it tends to be we have a big drop off in people parking with us. So usually the roof levels, you just use a level underneath. Sometimes we cordon them off. Sometimes if it's quite a busy car park and the roof is in use, our teams will go clear and grit it as well. So there is quite a big snow operation at times using the big machines that blow the snow away and stuff like that. So it's one of those. We never want too much snow. never great for business.
No, it's not great for driving instructors either.
No, it's not. I can imagine it's, a lot of people that are experienced drivers can't drive in snow, let alone students. Right. So just moving on, there's obviously some member benefits for DIA members as well. So actually, it's not just about driving lessons. If driving instructors are just going on a leisure visit to a city centre, there's a 15% discount available across all of our Q parks in the UK that you can pre-book, which is pretty much all of them. Again, that code is available on the members area of the DIA website. So again, there's more to just, it's not just driving instructors. If someone's going to London, a good example here is a car park at Marble Arch. This car park's underneath Hyde Park. Pre-book online and use that discount code and get some discount on parking.
Fabulous.
And I suppose we reached the end, and I did put any questions. But I know we've had questions come through anyway. But if anyone has any more questions, please do feel free to shout.
So if anyone's got any more questions, please pop them in the chat. I mean, other than that, I mean, that's answered most of the questions already, Tom. Thank you very much for that.
No, that's no problem. Happy to help.
It is a fabulous opportunity for driving instructors. And what I have to say is it's a breath of fresh air for most instructors to hear from a car park provider who is actively encouraging instructors to bring their learners in to teach them correctly and make them safe. All of the time across the country, driving instructors are struggling to find car parking spaces to practice with. Even local authorities are saying, right, we're not having any learner cars in our car parks. When
it's big. To me, that's very strange. This to me is the next generation of drivers. So we do want these people to start parking with us as well when they can drive it. It would seem odd to not welcome people into our facilities to learn actually how to drive them. It'll make them much more competent drivers in the future.
Exactly. And you've got supermarkets again. I would say that 99% of our instructors are sensible, and they're not going to be parking in areas that are blocking up other people while they practice. They do go to the parts of the car park because they don't want to put their pupils under stress as well, apart from anything else.
Of course,
in that situation, has been local supermarket managers saying, no, not in our car park. Well, you want these pupils as your customers.
Of course you do, yeah, 100%.
How to park, and they're local, that they are going to be going to that particular.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, it's a case of, well, would you rather them come there after they've passed the driving test, not be as competent at parking in a car park and start digging other cars? It just seems very strange to me to not, look at this as an opportunity to improve people's driving across the country.
Yeah, this is absolutely a breath of fresh air for us, Tom. And although people may be looking at that list and thinking, "Oh, there's not one in my town yet," that really does give people the opportunity to go to other towns. You know, to
100%.
to absolutely experience that getting out of town driving, especially now where learners, once they've reached a certain stage, you can take learner drivers on motorways as well as dual carriageways. You
Yeah,
can get to other places, and within, I should think there'd be very few places in the country that you couldn't get to a Q Park car park within a couple of hours. So
yeah,
you want to
100%.
make it an experience. You could perhaps double up with your learners and have two learners. Like somebody said earlier, can you do back-to-back sessions? Yeah, book two sessions, take two learners, take them, for an hour drive out. First learner does some parking for half an hour. You go out, you get a coffee, come back in for your next session with your other learner, and then they can drive back. There are lots of ways for instructors to market this in a
Yeah,
way that they are leading the field against other local instructors.
yeah.
So,
It's another selling point for the driving instructor, isn't it?
it
It's right. We're
is,
going to take you into a city centre and teach you how
yeah.
to drive.
Absolutely, and these are the kind of advantages that DIA members are getting, which will help them to be above the crowd within their own area. Somebody else has asked, how many Q parks are there in London?
Oh, we've got about 16 car parks in central London. They're all sort of in the borough of Westminster.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we've got real big coverage there.
Quite
So things like
simple, isn't
Oxford
it?
Street, Park Lane, Marble Arch, that's a massive car park just underneath Hyde Park. Harley Street, Soho, Chinatown, Victoria, Pimlico. We have got a lot of locations in central London.
Brilliant. And again, very handy for the instructors when they're going shopping for the day. They can get
Yeah,
a
100%, 100%.
discount on their parking for themselves. So that's
Yes.
lovely. Cloda has said, thank you for building such amazing car parks for the public. We really need them.
Oh, you're
Absolutely.
very, very welcome.
And said, I'd always choose to pay for a car park than park on the street. And
Totally
I
agree.
do agree because that is more secure. It
100%.
is, specific to your needs, as it were.
Yeah.
Parking on the street has all kinds of other problems
Hmm.
attached to it. And what would so with Q Park, I'm presuming you pay up front or you just register your card for your parking, and then it
Um,
depends on how long you
yeah,
stay.
there's quite a few different ways. Obviously, you can pre-book online as we've seen. So that's paying before you get there. We actually have an app where you can put your number plate and your payment card on, and that will just charge you automatically as you drive in and out. But obviously, if you just turn up and you don't know any of this, you can still take a ticket from the barrier and go to a pay machine just before you leave to make payment. So there's lots of different routes to market.
So is there an app for this, Tom?
The app is more for pay-as-you-go parking, not pre-booking. So at the minute, it's
Okay.
just pre-booking on our website. But obviously, our website is mobile optimized as well. So if they need to pre-book using the phone, they can still get to that link through the DIA members area.
Excellent. And someone's asked, they missed a little bit of this, but is there any in Gloucestershire?
It's funny you say that because we've literally, I mean, literally about 2 days before Christmas, just opened a car park in Gloucester at the Forum. If they know that, it's a brand new development in the city centre. So actually, I'll get that one added onto this so that you can use that one.
Fantastic. Pauline, there you go. So there's one
There
right
you
in.
go. Like I said in the previous slides, we are always growing, so there'll be new locations popping
Yeah,
up every so often. So I'll make sure we keep this update for all your users.
fantastic. So is the updated list always on the website?
Yes, because when you link through to our website, that'll show all the cities you can book at and click into book. So every time you go in there, you should
Brilliant.
see more appearing over time.
Brilliant. And I will answer one more, but please, we don't want everywhere in the country listed. But have you got any down in Poole in Dorset?
Not yet, no. But again, it's
Where would be the nearest for Dorset, Tom?
I'm trying to think. It's the nearest big city. I'm sorry, Mike. This is me being from Leeds and my geography not being very good. Oh, where have we near Dorset? I think we have recently got one in Bristol. So
Yep,
again,
that's not too far away.
I'll get that one added on as well. Actually, we've had a couple that have gone live since we created this, so I can definitely get that updated and get a few more locations on, which is going to be of benefit to everyone.
Fabulous. Someone said, when we book, do we need our DIA number? Hopefully, that's
Yeah.
part of it. When you go on the website to find out how to book. So
Yeah, so you just
I
log
don't
into
know.
the DIA members area and then you can access the link from there.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so if there's no more questions, it just means that I need to thank you, Tom, for taking time and coming to talk to us today. It has been really, really interesting.
No
A
problem at all.
great benefit for your members, and hopefully the network will grow even more, which will be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I've just seen a question come through on the chat actually from Claude.
Another one of we.
You just need to re-enter as a new
Okay.
booking. Yes. So if you book two back to back, you'll need to exit and then re-enter again. So every pre-book is sort of needs to pick up one entry, one exit for it to work.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so thank you everyone who's attended today. Thank you for taking your time out to come along and visit us at DIA and enjoy the webinar. This will be available on the members area in the recordings. So it just needs me to say thank you ever so much. And Tom, thank you very much.
No problem. Very welcome. Hope we've all found this insightful.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.